A mysterious force descended on Earth and randomly selected lucky ones to enter the world of thriller games. Abnormal Xu Yuan became the lucky one, facing the fear that other players avoided in thriller games because his body was undergoing mutations and becoming even more terrifying. Novel keywords. Global weird. My body is not very normal without pop-ups. Global weird. My body is not very normal. Download the full text. Global weird. My body is not very normal. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Games. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Games. Welcome to the Thriller Game. The Thriller Live broadcast room will record your thrilling journey, face fear, gather courage, and move forward boldly. Solve the mysteries in the thrilling world, for the sake of your fellow countrymen who no longer know nothing, and for the sake of your own slim vitality. Xu Yuan opened his eyes and saw an endless gray mist. He reached out his hand, trying to disperse the mist, but the seemingly light mist still maintained its original flow and remained unmoved. This is the world of thriller games. So, is it my turn to be selected this time? After a brief moment of confusion, Xu Yuan had already understood his situation. 10 years ago, thriller games suddenly arrived, selecting players from billions of people around the world in an undirected, irregular, and asymptomatic way. The person selected as a player will disappear into the thrilling world in public, participating in terrifying and mysterious game dungeons under the full recording of the thrilling live streaming platform. Although it's called a game, the end of a horror game's failure is not just a big dish that can make a hero start over, but a real death. He usually dies very tragically. The thriller live streaming platform cannot be banned either. Without a server room, information flow cannot be traced, as if it is just a force that humans are not yet able to understand, presented in a familiar live streaming situation. Don't look. Of course not, no one can force you to look. But who can be certain that they won't be selected and become players in thriller games? Watching more live broadcasts in the thriller room and remembering the game content may become valuable life-saving straw at some point. The emergence of thriller games has caused a huge panic worldwide. From the skyrocketing prices of sleeping pills to selling them out of stock, it's clear how many people are afraid of waking up late at night, feeling not the warmth of the bed and bedding, but the madness of thrilling games. Everyone is in danger, who is not afraid? Xu Yuan is no exception, but he is no longer afraid. Becoming a player of thriller games makes you feel uneasy and confused, so you develop fear. Your eyes and arms eat away your fear, and now they have become even more terrifying. Slight increase in arm strength, slight improvement in vision, and slight improvement in visual reaction speed. Joy, anger, sorrow, fear, love, evil thoughts, desires. These are 7 emotions that every normal person will have. But Xu Yuan only has 6 of them. Because every time he develops fear, before he can feel it, he will be consumed by various organs in his body, becoming a nutrient for evolution. Courage may be called bravery, but if one completely loses fear, it can easily be seen as an anomaly and labeled as abnormal. During his childhood, Xu Yuan once saved a little girl from being surrounded by several crazy stray dogs, but the first reaction of the little girl's parents upon hearing the news was to protect her behind him and look at him nervously. That strange gaze. It's like it's not the stray dog attacking the little girl, but Xu Yuan. Xu Yuan could understand the reaction of the little girl's parents. After all, he was a bit heavy at the time and didn't control the force well. Several crazy stray dog corpses were incomplete, leaving him covered in blood. It looks really scary. However, in thriller games, Xu Yuan, who is not very normal, undoubtedly has a huge innate advantage compared to a normal person with all 7 emotions. Maintaining rationality will be of utmost importance in order to survive in a thrilling world full of unknowns and deaths. Xu Yuan watched a live broadcast of a thrilling game with 5 people. The ending is the destruction of the group, and no one survived. But only one person was beyond their ability and was directly killed by the monster. The other 4, unable to withstand the fear generated by high-pressure environments, acted impulsively after rational breakdown, leading to self-destruction. Initializing novice dungeons, players are advised to prepare. Main task. Leave. The gray mist faded like a tide. Xu Yuan looked around and found that this should be the security room. The windows were sealed with wooden boards, and the storage cabinet was placed behind the door, blocking the entrance and exit. The floor is piled up with a large number of empty cans, snack packaging bags, instant noodle barrels, and miscellaneous household waste, which has become somewhat foul-smelling. There is a male corpse wearing a security uniform in the chair in front of the monitoring monitor, and next to it is a blood-stained fire axe. The cause of death is clear at a glance. My head is blossoming. Considering that the body of the security guard was holding a pistol in his hand, with his index finger pulling the trigger and the muzzle stuck in his mouth, Xu Yuan felt that this should be a suicide by swallowing the gun. Unless this is a detective copy for solving and apprehending criminals. But looking at the main task that is so concise that it only uses 2 words to describe, it doesn't seem like playing the role of a detective to investigate the truth behind the suicide case in the security room. Xu Yuan picked up his pistol and a string of information appeared before his eyes. Name. PRB-92 pistol, quality. Normal, plot related. No, bring out copy. Yes, note. Bullets are a good medicine for dealing with zombies, and the last bullet is a mercy for oneself. But if you feel that swinging your arm can make the bullet turn, then the zombie will leave disappointed after opening your brain. Xu Yuan had never been exposed to firearms before, and could only recall scenes from film and television works. He slowly explored and checked the magazine, only to find that there were still 7 bullets left inside. It seems that the security guard did not choose the last mercy, but simply gave up resistance. Xu Yuan looked at the surveillance monitor, and the real-time images displayed by several still-functioning surveillance cameras were connected together, which happened to be the route from the security room to the gate. Not far. Stepping out of the security room, you only need to pass through a corridor to reach the front desk lobby and leave through the open door. Just on this route, there are more than a dozen humanoid monsters hovering around. Zombies. Xu Yuan thought of this word. At least through monitoring footage, he felt that these humanoid monsters had a high degree of similarity with zombies that had become popular monster images in horror-themed works. Rotten all over, slow to move. The surveillance footage also captured a zombie eating, whose food appeared to be a whole calf, with blood-stained stockings and high heels on his feet. At this point, Xu Yuan's thrilling live broadcast room had already been opened, and more than a dozen viewers came in one after another to witness his performance as a new anchor. This start was good, I got a gun right away. Is he not afraid of this cute new one at all? Seeing zombies eating meat, his expression remained unchanged and he was too calm, right? Indeed, without mentioning abilities, this psychological quality is already fully developed. Hey, give me the legs in this zombie's hand. I can lick the stockings until they turn pale. Eating them like this is too wasteful, it's a waste. Brother, what's wrong with you? Can be rough, can't be perverted. If it's because you've watched too many thriller live streams and it turns out like this, I suggest you go see a psychologist, but if it's like this before watching the thriller live stream, give me the address and I'll book a fashionable and minimalist silver bracelet for you. New book seeking collection and recommendation tickets, end of this chapter. Chapter 2. Acts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Acts 15, 16, 17. Xu Yuan is counting the number of zombies that can be seen in the surveillance footage. There are a total of 17. Considering the blind spots in the surveillance footage, it is conservatively estimated that the number of zombies on this route is also over 20. Even if Xu Yuan, who had never touched a firearm before, had a burst of luck and his gun would explode, it was not realistic to rely on this handgun with only 7 bullets left to kill. Hee hee. Hee hee. Suddenly, the security guard's body twitched and a strange sound came from his mouth, which was holding the barrel of the pistol. It was like exhaling with a mouthful of water. However, what splashed out from the mouth of this corpse was not water, but sticky blood. Then it was as if an electric current had been applied and the whole body began to twitch. Although the brain, as the control center, is completely silent, the muscle tissue that accumulates strength seems to receive a signal and suddenly tightens. The security guard's body is coming to life. The next moment, Xu Yuan picked up the fire axe and decisively carried out a split operation on the body of the security guard. Name: Blood-stained fire axe, quality normal, plot related. No, bring out copy. Yes, note. Let's guess, are all the dried up bloodstains on the axe blade all zombies? Dong. My head flew out, creating a beautiful parabola that collided with the wall, leaving a trail of blood, and then fell to the ground, rolling around a few times. It was beyond Xu Yuan's expectation that he could still turn into a corpse with a headshot, but the subsequent upheaval frightened him even more. The head was already gone, but the headless corpse did not limp down. Instead, it suddenly stood up, and its tense muscles seemed to be accumulating strength for this moment, rushing towards Xu Yuan. Just pounced on nothing. The attack of headless zombies startled you, causing you to develop fear. Your feet and heart devoured your fear, and now they have become even more terrifying. Endurance slightly improves, footwork slightly improves. How many times have a person been scared from a young age to a big event? Xu Yuan had never counted, but his body had been feeding on his fear from childhood to adulthood, and he had long surpassed the realm of a normal person. Although the headless zombie's attack was unexpected, Xu Yuan, relying on his unreasonable physical condition, easily dodged and did not give the headless zombie a second chance. Hands rise, axes fall. Stronger than a sharp axe blade, infused with enough strength, it brutally cuts open flesh and blood, shatters ribs, and splits the spine. Starting from the side waist, a horizontal waist slash is performed. The lower half of the body fell to the ground motionless. But first without a head, now without legs, only a torso and a pair of hands of security zombies remain, yet they have not yet been freed from the curse of immortality. Crawling on the ground with both hands, also climb towards Xu Yuan. Xu Yuan just doesn't have any fear, but he also has his own temper. Can he still be polite to zombies? 2 axes chopped down, taking off the zombies' hands as well. There was only a bare torso left, completely devoid of mobility. But still not dead. Muscles are still active. Sleeping slot, lying slot, zombies are not dead here. If you don't die from a headshot, then you can't call it a zombie anymore. Horror games are not games, they are a real and eerie world that may have similarities with some works in our world, but don't confuse the two. I think this cute new anchor named Xu Yuan, who just dodged zombies and killed them with a backhand axe, is just like flowing water. Is he handsome? I also noticed. His reaction and speed were so fast just now. If it were me, he would probably have been bitten by a zombie. Although I can understand what you mean, this is a headless zombie. What are you biting at? Xu Yuan crouched in front of the still, alive, zombie body, which was clearly not a corpse, but the cross-dot section was unusually devoid of much blood. Head, hands, feet. After detaching from the body, the zombie has already lost its vitality. It is obvious that the secret to the zombie's immortality is hidden inside the body, but what could it be? Xu Yuan came up with a way to narrow down the scope. Split your body in half again. By looking at which half can still maintain activity, at least we can eliminate the range of the other half. The rest. Continue to chop and eliminate. Repeat a few more times, you can always find the key position, right? Can't it be divided into minced meat in the end? Can there still be half to maintain activity? If that's the case, Xu Yuan would also acknowledge it and assume that this zombie cannot be killed. However, this is just a foolish and exhaustive method. Xu Yuan plans to first try another organ in the human body that is second only in importance to the brain, and even comparable to it. Heart. Xu Yuan chopped the fire axe into the heart of the security zombie. With one axe to the end, it chilled the heart. Pushi. Fresh and warm blood burst out from the wound, not sticky at all, completely unlike the blood inside a dead body. But the color of this blood is petroleum black. After unleashing black blood, the remaining body of the security zombie trembled, as if it had exhausted its last vitality, and then fell silent forever. The muscle tissue has completely relaxed. Appeared, it's our Xia Gua River crab's special supply of petroleum blood. Shocked. Xia Gua seems to be ahead of the world in mastering thriller games. The first thing they did was to urgently release patches and replace blood with oil for the physical and mental health and energy issues of children worldwide. You guys have enough. Shouldn't this be the weakness of zombies, not their heads but their hearts? Splitting a zombie makes me feel a bit nauseous. How did he maintain his composure? Is this really a new anchor? Finally someone mentioned this. It's normal for other cute newcomers to be scared and shout loudly. When encountering bloody scenes, their faces are basically pale, and they even vomit directly. But Xu Yuan has not shown any discomfort so far, calm enough to make me a little scared. If his horror level can be displayed now, I seriously suspect it will be in single digits. The thriller value is a very important data in thriller games. The higher the value, the more dangerous it is. If it reaches 100, it means that the player's mind has collapsed and gone crazy. However, the horror value is displayed in the attribute panel, which can only be unlocked after completing the beginner dungeon, so Xu Yuan's horror value is now hidden and unknown. Xu Yuan is inspecting the body of the security guard. One is to confirm that the body will no longer live, and the other is to search for anything that can be used. For example, pistol bullets. Oh, there's something in this pocket. Xu Yuan noticed some bulges in the pocket of the security guard's shirt and reached out to flip through it. However, what came out was not bullets, but a portable diary that seemed to have been soaked in blood. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Diary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Diary, Name. Security Guard's Diary, Quality. Normal, plot related. Yes, bring out copy. No, note. A serious person who writes a diary. Xu Yuan opened his diary. The dried blood has penetrated the paper, and most of the handwriting is unrecognizable. On the 7th, sunny day, people cannot be short of aspirations, and security guards also have a future. Starting from today, I will seize the opportunity to study, strive for progress, and enrich myself. 30 years in Hedong and Heshi, one day I want everyone in this company to look up to me. On the 8th, Xiaoyu, playing cards, lost 91 yuan. A colleague who played cards with her said that a female employee reported that she seemed to have been peeped at, but the surveillance footage did not reveal any reason. I think she is under a lot of overtime pressure and has become neurotic. On the 11th, on a cloudy day, playing cards, I had good luck and won 130 yuan. At noon, I played an extra meat dish in the cafeteria. I heard that there were several female employees who reported voyeurism, but they couldn't catch anyone. Now this matter is becoming more and more mysterious. Some people think it was done by ghosts and suggest finding someone to do a ritual. It's really speechless. Even if you read more books like me, you wouldn't believe there are ghosts in the world. On the 13th, sunny day, playing cards, I lost 80 yuan. Surprisingly, it was Xiao Chen from our security team who was peeping at female employees. I'm so good, knowing people knows face but not heart. This kid looks quite honest, but his heart is so dirty. What did he think? If he really misses a woman, wouldn't it be good to go to the Baojian? Harassing company employees, maybe he'll end up in jail now. On the 15th, it's cloudy. Playing cards, you'll lose if you bet for a long time. How come you don't understand such a simple truth? You lost 197 yuan. You're not allowed to drink for a week. No. Look at what you've been doing all week. Playing cards, or playing cards. What's your ambition? You're just a security guard now. Do you still want to be a security guard for your whole life? You can't go down again, read books. On the 16th, it was raining and I already told my colleagues that I had quit gambling. I bought the tutoring materials, but I couldn't understand them at all. However, I heard that a very special college student came to the bathing city. After calculating the overnight price, it was more affordable than finding a tutoring teacher. On the 17th, sunny day, I was foolish. Why didn't anyone tell me in advance that college students are a big shot in women's clothing? And they even sell themselves instead of performing, what a big loss. Flipping through his diary here, Xu Yuan was also a bit foolish. He understood why the diary related to the plot had such notes. The security guard who wrote the diary is indeed not a serious person. The audience in Xu Yuan's live broadcast room all enjoyed watching. Amazing, this is a genius. It's more cost-effective to hire a night college student than to find a tutor. Ha ha ha, I'm laughing to death. It's indeed affordable, after all, tutors can't do it, college students can do it, but this security guard didn't expect to be a male college student, so the money went to waste. No, it's the night of the 16th. If he didn't do anything that night, shouldn't he keep a diary roast that night? Why wait until the 17th? Congratulations to the blind student, you have discovered Huadian light up and fencing at night. Isn't it true that thriller games can even drive cars so fast on such a bumpy road? However, this cheerful atmosphere did not last long. Xu Yuan flipped through the pages of his diary that were stained with blood and couldn't be recognized, and found that the rest of the content was more like graffiti, with each handwriting crooked and even of varying sizes. Each word is like a pile of household garbage on the ground, haphazardly piled up on the last few pages of this diary, but it seems to grip everyone's necks and drag them back into the tide of fear. The last few pages of the diary are actually filled with the same sentence, coming and going. He's in the hall. If you can't see him, he can't see you. What is he? I have no way of knowing for now. The identifiable content in the security guard's diary does not point to the answer to this question. The last few pages in your diary made you feel a bit uneasy, so you developed fear. Your lungs and spleen ate up your fear, and now they have become even more terrifying. Endurance slightly improved, endurance recovery speed slightly increased. Xu Yuan returned to the surveillance monitor and carefully stared at the footage, trying to distinguish between monsters that were different from zombies, or rather high-level zombies. Not found. The retention period for surveillance videos is 7 days. Pull out all the surveillance footage for the past 7 days and slowly look for his presence. It's possible, but how much time does it take? Although the security room is safe, there is no food or water, and the depletion of supplies may be the main reason for the security guard to commit suicide by swallowing a gun. No matter how strong Xu Yuan's physical fitness is, he is just an individual with a need for food. If you don't eat or drink, you will also die. Either go out recklessly or think of other ways. Since the security guard has noticed his presence, perhaps there are other clues left outside of the diary. Xu Yuan began searching for clues in computer files, and after quickly reviewing the contents of more than a dozen folders, he felt that the horror live broadcast room could not be controlled. Otherwise, his live broadcast room is definitely gone. Is this live streaming content so exciting? I'm just a 300-month-old child, I can't control it at all. Black silk, black silk. It's black silk again. How much does this security guard like black silk? To be honest, the black silk is crooked and loves to tear. If this security guard knew that there would be a moment of appreciating the XP system, I think he would have to delete these teaching videos of teachers personally practicing and inheriting knowledge if he still had a breath. I only have one idea now: if I know I'm going to die, I must destroy my computer hard drive. After more than 10 minutes, Xu Yuan finally discovered a video file. It's not a teacher's lecture, but a surveillance video of the front desk lobby. A few people escaped the zombies and ran to the front desk lobby, but here they heard some movement and suddenly looked up together. Then, above the surveillance screen, several slender black shadows suddenly appeared. Because the speed was too fast, the surveillance camera couldn't capture what the black shadows were. I can only see that these few people's eyes are pierced through a hole in their brain. Blood gushed like a spring, and everything in my head flowed out. But strangely enough, only one person who was scared and fell to the ground from the beginning, with their eyes closed and their hands and feet crawling outwards, was not attacked by the shadow. This person didn't know if he had a good sense of direction or luck, but he closed his eyes and crawled out of the company gate, leaving the range of the surveillance camera. However, soon a mournful scream rang out from outside the company's gate. Although I escaped from the company, I still haven't escaped from bad luck. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Camera, request for recommended tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Camera, request for recommended tickets. The video did not capture the figure of him from beginning to end, but the sudden emergence of a black shadow should be his attack method. Although it is unknown whether it is another type of monster or an evolved zombie, relying solely on this shadow attack, the threat far exceeds that of ordinary zombies. As long as you don't see him, won't you be attacked by him? Combining the sentence, if you can't see him, he can't see you, from his diary with the only person in the video who hasn't been exposed by the shadow, Xu Yuan came to the conclusion. However, why doesn't his figure appear on the surveillance screen? Xu Yuan recalled the surveillance footage of the front desk lobby, adjusted the angle of each surveillance camera, and focused on watching for more than 10 minutes. He didn't know what he was thinking, so he contentedly put down his mouse. It's time to set off. Xu Yuan searched the security room once and found no other useful items or clues. Then he moved the storage cabinet that reached the door and opened the door leading to the outside. A zombie wandering right outside the security room seemed to smell the scent of a living person, making a hee-hee sound in its mouth, and running freely with its hands and feet, rushing towards it. Then, Xu Yuan swung a fire axe and gave him a heart-wrenching blow. Driven by inertia, he threw himself into the street and threw himself upside down, his face unable to stop, and he crashed straight into the door of the security room. However, there is no need to feel ashamed about this zombie, as every zombie encountered by Xu Yuan will have a similar fate afterwards. Startled, does this person look so clear and beautiful when it comes to axes? This combat power is a bit tiger. He is a fierce person. I feel like this beginner's dungeon is not difficult at all for this beginner. You don't even need to fire a gun, one person can swing through it with an axe. I think you're too happy too early, right? The zombies here are not particularly strong. As long as they know their weakness is the heart, it's not difficult to deal with. But what should he do? Walking past the front desk with your eyes closed, and then what? There are zombies in the front desk lobby now. How can you pass through the front desk lobby with your eyes closed? Xu Yuan waved his fire axe, chopping all the zombies blocking the way one by one into the street. When he stood outside the front desk lobby, not even his clothes were stained with blood. Just the blade of the fire axe in hand, stained black by the oil blood gushing from the zombie's heart, looked like it had acquired new skin. Oil Black Fire Axe, Zombie Limited Edition. Next, Xu Yuan did something that left everyone looking bewildered. He took out his phone, activated the camera mode, stood at the door, and took a picture of the front desk lobby from top to bottom and then from left to right. Xu Yuan watched the phone video of the front desk lobby that had just been taken, and it seemed that his guess had been confirmed. He smiled. This mobile phone recording has also captured the dead corners of the surveillance camera. But still not yet. There is no figure of him. Have you already left the front desk lobby, aren't you here? Xu Yuan doesn't think so. He set his phone to camera mode and held it in front of him, repeatedly adjusting the distance and angle to ensure that all lines of sight were blocked by the phone screen and only the images captured by the phone camera could be seen. Then, Xu Yuan held up his phone and walked into the front desk lobby. The audience in the live broadcast room were all confused by his operation. What is this? Let mobile phone cameras replace the eyes, I didn't understand it anyway. Did any older brother who was more handsome than Yanzu understand it? Can you explain it to me? What I mean is if, the monster in the front desk lobby won't be attacked as long as you don't see it. What I'm thinking is creating noise to lure out the zombies and kill them. If the marksmanship is good enough, you can use a handgun to kill directly, then remember the rough terrain of the front desk lobby, close your eyes and grope to the door to clear the dungeon, but I really didn't understand the operation of the anchor. However, the audience did not understand, which did not affect Xu Yuan's smooth progress. Using a mobile phone camera as his eyes, although it to some extent affected his vision and movements, there were less than 10 zombies in the front desk lobby, which were still scattered everywhere and not swarming up, posing no threat to him. Still one axe after another, effortlessly slaying one zombie after another. Soon, Xu Yuan has already walked halfway through the hall. In the video footage, Xu Yuan instantly completed multiple head bangs and kills, unable to even capture clear shadows from the surveillance camera. However, it seemed as if he was no longer here, allowing Xu Yuan, holding his phone, to approach the company gate. At this point, some viewers in the live broadcast room also noticed the clues. Sleeping slot. I got it. What we all thought was that we wouldn't be attacked by him with our eyes closed, but have we ever thought about why his figure can't be seen in all the surveillance video footage? Do you understand? Quickly, go into detail. Don't be too presumptuous, speak quickly, I'm going to be extremely anxious. It could just be a coincidence, he happened to be in the blind spot of the camera all along and didn't capture it. But what if it's not a coincidence? He is deliberately avoiding the camera to prevent himself from appearing on the video screen. What are monsters hiding from cameras for? Yes, that doesn't make sense. No, what are you guys fussing about? Joel's head fell in love with a golf club, and the mermaids became big-mouthed black fish. Can you figure it out? So, what's wrong with the monster hiding from the camera? Can you listen to me finish? Big shot. You're right. Keep going. Pass tea to Big Boss. JPG, just now, Xu Yuan took a video of the front desk lobby with his phone before entering. If I guess he's right, he probably captured all the blind spots on the surveillance camera, but still didn't see the monster in the lobby. What does this mean? The monster is either no longer in the front desk lobby, or it is indeed hiding from the camera, but regardless of which type, as long as Xu Yuan walks forward with his phone in this way, he will not be attacked by the monster and can safely reach the company gate to complete the dungeon. Sleeping trough, is it so detailed? After listening to your words, I finally understand this analysis is correct. Xu Yuan does suspect that he is evading the camera, and based on the current results, his choice is at least not wrong. Xu Yuan has successfully arrived at the company gate. Outside the gate, there is a gray mist wall that blocks all view, making it impossible to see anything outside the company. However, just one more step forward and you can leave here to clear the dungeon. Just at this distance, Xu Yuan suddenly stopped. Put down your phone and turn around. The sudden operation confused the audience in the live broadcast room. No, what is he doing now? He's already at the door, only one step away. Hurry up and walk over there. Still putting down your phone and looking back. Is this a search for death? I have a guess, I'm not sure if it's correct. Thank you for the reward from Songli. Please collect and recommend tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. One shot missed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. One shot missed, speak up quickly. Boss, if anyone interrupts you again, I'll look down on him for you. I guess Xu Yuan may be trying to eliminate him and increase the clearance score. Understood, just like when I play games, I also challenge the hidden boss. It's the best I've ever played, but can't I defeat it? But thriller games are not games. If you die, you really die. Perhaps this is the boldness of skilled artists. Anyone who is a normal person should just slip away now. Normal person. Do you see Xu Yuan's behavior as a normal person? I don't know if he's a normal person, but he definitely doesn't look like a normal cute new person. He's too calm. I really want to see what his horror level is. If Xu Yuan could see the barrage in the live broadcast room, he would definitely slap his thigh and give a thumbs up to the audience who made the guess, exclaiming from the bottom of his heart. Brother, you still understand me. That's right. Xu Yuan stopped just one step away from completing the dungeon and turned around, hoping to score high. The rating mechanism of thriller games, although based on comprehensive scores, not only involves battles, but also a series of factors such as exploration level, duration, and task triggering. However, it follows the principle of difficulty. The harder it is to pass, the higher the score. He clearly has a bit of a hidden boss nature. The normal way to pass should be to combine videos and diaries, find ways to avoid being attacked by others, and safely leave the company. There are two methods. The almost explicit method is to pass through the front desk lobby with your eyes closed, and then boldly guess that what needs to be carefully confirmed is like Xu Yuan, using him to avoid the characteristics of the camera. But both of these methods are avoiding battles, and the difficulty of passing through them is clearly lower than eliminating him and then swaggering out of the company's door. However, the audience in the live broadcast room guessed a bit wrong. Although Xu Yuan had no fear, he was not brave enough to gamble his life on a high score. The courage of high-performing artists only accounts for the first half. Ego. So, have confidence without fear. The black shadow that appeared in the surveillance video and shot those people's heads, although its speed exceeded the limit that the surveillance camera could clearly capture, it did not exceed Xu Yuan's limit. After turning around, Xu Yuan succeeded in seeing his face. On the central chandelier in the front desk lobby, there hangs a monster wearing a security uniform, but less humanoid than a zombie. The proportion of limbs can no longer be described as slender, but is truly terrifying, as the length of each hand and foot has exceeded the height of this monster. Originally, it was the position of the head. Although there is still a contour of the human head, it is only that the contour still resembles a human head. No hair, no facial features, just a not very round spherical shape. But the surface is not bare, but covered with dense and eerie cracks, and it's unclear what's hidden inside. This monster also instantly sensed Xu Yuan's gaze, and its eerie limbs began to tremble, accompanied by the central chandelier swinging. The tiles covering the front desk lobby were originally pure white, but the blood had already stained the area with a large area of crimson. Now, there are chandeliers casting twisted and narrow reflections of monsters. Shake back and forth, with shadows and shadows. Then, Xu Yuan knew what was hidden in the crack on the monster's head. Its eyeballs. This is actually an eye crack. The two gaps between the eyes opened, revealing two eyeballs without pupils, inside which Xu Yuan's figure was firmly reflected, and then suddenly burst out a puddle of liquid. It's like the flame emitted by a bullet when it comes out of the barrel. Two eyeballs with only white eyes detached from their sockets and shot accurately and rapidly towards Xu Yuan's eyes. The black shadows in the surveillance camera that blasted the heads of those people turned out to be the eyes of monsters. The good news for people with dense phobia has arrived. You feel a tingling scalp, so you develop fear. Your eyes have swallowed up your fear alone, and now it has become even more terrifying. Moderate improvement in dynamic vision and slight improvement in visual response speed. After Xu Yuan's eyes swallowed up this fear alone, the two eyeballs that were clearly visible in his line of sight were more like slowly moving filters. He didn't move his feet and tilted his head. Only two white eyeballs touched the air near Xu Yuan's forehead. Bang! Due to the speed being too fast, the two eyeballs almost simultaneously hit the ground tiles behind Xu Yuan, and the two sounds merged into one. The tiles and eyeballs exploded at the same time, leaving two overlapping pits. What would happen if the flesh and blood were to touch each other? The few people in that video have already interpreted it with their lives. Grass. The crack on this monster's head is a TMI crack. If it were all opened, the picture would give me goosebumps just thinking about it. Thank you for the description. The imaginative intensive phobia patient has died in action. So what just happened? Did this monster seem to have shot its eyeballs out just now? Eyeball. Look at this floor, I believe it even if you say it's a large caliber bullet. To be honest, the caliber of the eyeball should be much larger than that of regular bullets. After tilting his head to avoid his eyeballs, Xu Yuan didn't idle either. He pulled out his pistol and aimed at the monster on the chandelier, whose head was full of eyes. Hold the gun in your right hand, drag your right hand with your left hand, and tilt your head to the right. The right arm is in line with the pistol's aiming line. The right eye line of sight overlaps with the pistol's aiming line again. As his right eye focused on the monster's head, Xu Yuan pulled the trigger one after another, and the dark muzzle spewed out 6 flames in a very short amount of time. The hands holding the gun only had a slight swing, terrifyingly stable. The result is one shot missed. Although I don't know if the monster on the chandelier was shocked by Xu Yuan's marksmanship, the audience in the live broadcast room were all shown off anyway. Good guy, I just called out, good guy. Is this a case of shooting a horse gun and hanging it? Although your aiming posture is pretty, the way you missed a shot is really disappointing. I was silly. I just saw him put on a standard push-pull shooting technique and thought he had received professional firearms training, but... Is that all? Standard posture, then missed a shot. Understood, he's a flashy vegetable. Xu Yuan calmly moved the gun barrel away, his face calm. The result of his first shooting in life, although so tragic that it couldn't be worse, was within his expectations. Through this real-life experience of shooting a handgun, he deeply realized that shooting with firearms is not the same as using a mouse to press the recoil and point to where to shoot in a game. I am not a born sharpshooter, but I don't need to be either. The last bullet was left by Xu Yuan for the surveillance camera at the company gate. The monster on the chandelier 20 or 30 meters away cannot be hit. But the distance that can be reached with just one hand is so close that the muzzle of the gun is almost aligned with the lens of the surveillance camera. Can it still be tilted? Bang! The surveillance camera exploded in response. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. End of copy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 End of copy. The surveillance camera that Xu Yuan shot and exploded was the only surveillance area covering the inside of the company gate. In other words, the place where he is standing now has become a blind spot for surveillance. There is no camera aimed here. The monster hanging on the chandelier turned its neck and its head was trembling. Take a closer look. It was the trembling eyes that covered the entire head. The area without camera coverage is no longer his restricted area. The next moment, all the eyelids were opened together, and each eyeball with only white eyes was vigorously rotating in its orbit, turning towards the direction where Xu Yuan was located. There is no mouth, so there is no ferocious roar. The monster's terrifying limbs let go of the chandelier, bending and stretching. The power that erupted during this jump exceeded the limit that the chandelier hanging in the center of the front desk lobby could bear. The wire that hooks onto the ceiling and serves both a fixing and electrical purpose directly broke, causing the luxurious and exquisite pendant lamp to fly out and hit the front desk cabinet. It was torn apart and shattered with glass shards. The monster that completed this leap had already leaped above Xu Yuan, with at least 20 or 30 eyeballs firmly fixed on his figure, and its outstretched limbs seemed to be giving him a hug. A deadly embrace. You don't want to be killed by monsters, you still want to live, so you have developed fear. Your arms and heart have devoured your fear, and now they have become even more terrifying. Slight increase in arm strength, slight increase in endurance, and slight increase in explosive power. The breath of death was within reach, and Xu Yuan closed his eyes. If you can't see him, he can't see you. All the eyeballs on the monster's head lost focus and returned to the center of the eye sockets. The gaps between the eyes slowly closed, and the slender limbs only continued the unfinished movements. With his eyes closed, Xu Yuan followed the process he had rehearsed in his heart. He first moved sideways, then swung his fire axe with both hands and drew a circular arc in the direction of the monster's attack. Got it. The feedback from the handle of the axe made Xu Yuan know that his strike did not fail, but he did not give a heartfelt chill like chopping a zombie, but rather got stuck. This monster with a head full of cracks in its eyes is much rougher than a zombie's skin and thicker flesh. He began to struggle, like a dying beast. Unable to see the attacker. The slender limbs can only be waved around like a gust of wind, although it looks comical and ridiculous, as if they don't understand dance but forcefully follow the intense rhythm of the drum beats and twist around, but in terms of destructive power, it is like demolition. A decorative pillar was thrown by the monster's arm like a thin bamboo pole, and the stable cylindrical structure supported by the hard marble material was instantly destroyed. Collapse, collapse. Xu Yuan ignored the dangerous roaring noise that came into his ears. He clenched his hands on the handle of the axe, suppressing the monster that wanted to break free from the blade and continuing to exert himself. The adrenaline surges, the strong heart bursts into a more powerful beat, and the surging blood circulation flows through every organ of the body to provide sufficient blood oxygen supply, so that the muscles in both arms have no worries and can output at full force. Click. The handle of the axe was too heavy to bear and broke. However, monsters no longer struggle, there is no movement. Xu Yuan felt some warm liquid fall on his face. He opened his eyes. Seeing that the blade of the fire axe had already penetrated the monster's heart, a large amount of oil like black blood sprayed out, reaching a height of 3 meters, like a small fountain. The liquid that fell on Xu Yuan's face was the black blood in the monster's heart. The amount of bleeding is quite large. The monster's heart spewed black blood for more than 10 seconds before stopping. The security uniform on his body was already dirty and couldn't be seen as it was. Xu Yuan didn't mind at all and took out the pocket of the security uniform. What should I do after playing the boss? Touch the corpse. After digging out all his pockets and not even putting the inside of his coat, Xu Yuan was disappointed to find that the monster had no explosive equipment, only a letter. Name. A blood-stained letter, quality. Normal, plot-related. Yes, bring out copy. No, note. In the past, cars and horses were very slow, letters were far away, and a lifetime was only enough to love one person. But now. Do you have no mobile phone or are you not saturated with work, so you have no time to write letters? This letter, like the diary of the security guard in the security room, is heavily stained with blood, and there are not many recognizable handwriting left. The content is far less serious than the security diary. I didn't peep at her, I just passed by the restroom door. Why fired me? Why, no one believes me. What did I do wrong? The biggest mistake I can think of is being seen passing by the restroom door. If I hadn't been seen, wouldn't that have happened? If everyone wants me to die, then I'll just go die, okay? I'm going to die in the company, by the side of all of you. It's up to you to explain to the police, explain to the public, and make them believe that my death has nothing to do with you. The audience in Xu Yuan's live broadcast room can also see the content of this letter. Does the security guard's diary mention a voyeurism case where the captured voyeur was Xiao Chen? This monster is Xiao Chen, but he was wrongly accused. It's hard to say if it's unfair. We haven't seen any evidence, and this letter is just a one-sided statement he wrote. Who knows if it's true or false? We have to cut open our stomachs to show you how many bowls of noodles there are, but there are still fake ones, right? There's something fishy. If this little Chen wants to retaliate against everyone by dying in the company, isn't the letter he left behind the biggest flaw? As long as the content of the letter is public, everyone knows he committed suicide. The barrage in the live broadcast room was debating whether Xiao Chen had been wrongly accused, but Xu Yuan didn't care at all. He was pondering the meaning of this letter. The security guard's diary, no matter how insincere it is, provides clues to this monster and indicates ways to avoid being attacked. What about this letter? Is it just an echo of the peeping incident in the security diary, enriching the background story? I was just seen passing by, it would be great if I hadn't been seen. Not seen. Xu Yuan's spiritual light flashed, as if he had caught a clue. Isn't Xiaochen, after being turned into a monster, fully implementing the logic of not being seen behavior? Avoid the camera. Whoever sees him will see him and then kill him. After all, as long as you kill the person who sees you, it's like no one sees you. Hidden task. Decrypting the direction of monster evolution, completed. Tip. Now all you need to do is cut off your head full of eyes and take it away, and you can get extra surprise rewards when completing the level. Here we go. This is the reward for killing a hidden boss. Excitedly, Xu Yuan pulled out the blade of the fire axe, cut off the monster's head with all its eyes closed, and then turned around and walked out of the company gate. The gray mist that permeated outside the gate actively enveloped Xu Yuan. Then the fog dissipated, and Xu Yuan disappeared without a trace. Beginner Dungeon, End. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Head Lantern. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 8. Boring and Boring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Boring and Boring. Xu Yuan's idea of using the backpack bar to disarm enemies was very clever, but the timely system prompt dispelled his creative idea. Tip. Your backpack compartment can only store items that you have system-approved ownership of. TSK, I won't even give you a chance to take a loophole. Xu Yuan shrugged, but he was not disappointed either. If thriller games were so easy to exploit, they wouldn't have become a nightmare that humans around the world have to face in the past decade. The fire axe that Xu Yuan used very easily couldn't bring out the copy after being damaged, while the PRB-92 pistol, although without bullets, can be replenished in the personal room. As long as one thriller point is consumed, all firearms can be filled with bullets at once, but the limit is that they can only be filled to full and there are no spare bullets. The magazine capacity of the PRB-92 pistol is 15 rounds, which is equivalent to exchanging one thriller point for 16 rounds, making it a cost-effective option. That's right. Xu Yuan's brain did not have a short circuit. It's not 15 rounds, but 16 rounds. Because the barrel can also store one bullet. The actual maximum load of firearms is actually the magazine load plus this one round in the barrel. How did Xu Yuan know this knowledge even though he had no experience in using firearms? 1,000 degrees, you'll know. Xu Yuan also learned the push-pull shooting technique in this way, but he can only learn some theoretical knowledge and has no opportunity to practice it. After all, the place where he grew up is not the White Eagle Kingdom where he shoots every day. Consuming one thriller point to replenish ammunition, Xu Yuan also stored his pistol in the backpack column, and then he retrieved the back-end data of his live broadcast room for this instance. Current fans. 17. Heat revenue. 8. Coin revenue. 2. Obtained thriller points. 10. The popularity is directly linked to the number of viewers and barrage in the live broadcast room. Coins are like gifts, but the way to get them is not by spending money to recharge, but by each person receiving a certain amount of coins every day based on the total duration of watching the thrilling live broadcast. Xu Yuan is not a celebrity with his own popularity, and he didn't expect to earn much profit from a previous live broadcast. Although 10 thriller points are far less than clearing dungeons, no matter how small the mosquito is, it is still flesh. Isn't there really someone who thinks money is too much? Horror points are not just used to replenish firearms and ammunition, this is the universal currency in horror games. If you are not satisfied with the minimalist style of your personal room and want to renovate or add new furniture, it will cost you thriller points. Although there is an unlimited supply of nutritious meals and purified water in the private room, if you want to have a decent meal, you also need to consume thrilling points. Although there is no official store for selling props and equipment in thriller games, the market feature that allows players to freely trade items after reaching level 5 is also traded using thriller points. Xu Yuan noticed a door in his personal room. What's behind this? Although he often watches thrilling live broadcasts, his personal room is a resting space for players and never appears in the live broadcast, so it is the first time he has seen this door. Curious, Xu Yuan walked over and pushed open the door. Outside the door was a swirling gray mist. It's gray mist again. Mist often appears in thriller games. Sometimes it's the end of the level, sometimes it's the edge of the dungeon. Just now, the human head turned into a lantern, and it was also shrouded in mist. But no one can explain exactly what fog is, it can only be broadly understood as the manifestation of some mysterious power in thriller games. Xu Yuan reached out to touch the mist. Unlike the fog at the entrance of the company in the novice dungeon, he did not blend in with the fog, but felt a strong sense of rejection, and his outstretched hand could not move any further. It's like this is not fog, but an insurmountable gray wall. At this point, Xu Yuan received a new system prompt. Tip. The scene behind the door is not yet open. Come back to explore later. Just rest well and wait for the next thriller game. A minimalist-style personal room can be said to have everything, and there are also many daily living needs, but it can also be said that there is nothing. No internet, no computer, no game console. TV is available and can be turned on, but there is no signal at all. Apart from displaying system information for thriller games, it is just a decoration. Just need a good rest. You can only rest well, right? Xu Yuan roast. Then, bored, he took out his pistol. Researching the structure of the gun body, slowly disassembling it into parts, and then reassembling the parts into a new gun. After putting it back together, there was no extra spring or screw. Xu Yuan smiled with satisfaction. Then dismantle it again, then assemble it again. Cycle back and forth. People are extremely bored and have to find ways to find some fun for themselves. However, every time Xu Yuan dismantled and reassembled it, it took noticeably less time than the previous round. If he continued to be bored like this, he would soon be able to replace Long Shu and compete with Azu to form a gun. When Xu Yuan finished disassembling and assembling the pistol 27 times, ready to increase his difficulty, he closed his eyes and challenged himself for the 28th time, but his stomach protested. Sent a signal of hunger to the brain. So many dishes. Not good, I'm going to have difficulty choosing now. Is this, or this? The catering services provided in the personal room cover all dishes from ancient and modern times, both domestic and foreign. I can't believe it, I can't eat it here. Even in the dazzling menu, Xu Yuan saw specialty dishes that had never appeared in human culinary history. Smoked sword dragon meat. This must be a taste. The price is not expensive yet. The cheapest nutritious meal is free of charge, and the most expensive dishes only cost 5 thrilling points. This smoked sword dragon meat is priced at 3 horror points. After Xu Yuan finished ordering, the system also thoughtfully recommended 3 dishes and drinks suitable for pairing with smoked sword dragon meat, and the starting price of these 3 sets of meals was even cheaper than ordering them alone, with only 2 thrilling points. I spent a total of 5 thriller points. Xu Yuan had a feast that could only be enjoyed in thriller games, and the taste was surprisingly good. The smoky flavor of jianlong meat is full, but it is surprisingly tender and juicy. Paired with incredibly delicious seafood soup, a refreshing and sweet fruit salad, and a sip of fruity and mellow Merlot red wine perfect. Xu Yuan doesn't feel bored at all now. Don't say it's a waste, you should eat free nutritious meals to save your thrilling points and use them on the edge in the future. Firstly, this idea is incorrect. Eat. Can it be waste? Love and food are not to be let down. Xu Yuan, who was enjoying himself, didn't know that although his first live broadcast had ended, round after round of people came to his already black screen live room. Follow and become a fan. There are only 17 fans. It's already in the past tense. Now. Adding a 0 to the back is far from enough. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Video Editing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Video Editing. After Xu Yuan cleared the beginner dungeon, his thrilling live broadcast room had no more visuals and displayed a line of text in a black screen state. Xu Yuan, LV2, has successfully completed the beginner dungeon and achieved a good comprehensive score of A+. Let's congratulate him. This is also the line of text that made more than 20 people in Xu Yuan's live broadcast room not leave immediately after the live broadcast ended, but instead emit barrage after barrage in the black screen live broadcast room. A+. Play A+ in the beginner dungeon. He also completed a hidden task, and after watching thrilling live broadcasts for so many years, it was the first time I knew that there were also hidden tasks in novice tasks. I never expected that the first time I saw an A+ level pass during a live broadcast was in a newcomer's live broadcast room. I can't even remember when I last saw an A+ rating. I do remember my last time, it was in the live broadcast room of Forward Brother for a month. Feng Gu is a legendary player in thriller games, and his life experience was somewhat legendary before being selected by the game. I have served in the army and almost became a military king. After retiring, he started his professional career as an esports player, only one step away from winning the highest level of competition. If I remember correctly, Feng Ge's novice dungeon rating is only A+ level, right? Just. I'm afraid you don't know. In the past decade, the highest clearance score for beginner dungeons has only been S. level, and it has only appeared 3 times. I was puzzled by what I said. All the zombies on the road were killed, and the monster in the hall was also killed. I did most of what I could do, and it didn't take long. Why is he only at A+ level? Are there any missing bonus points? Hey, don't you know that a normal beginner dungeon actually has a maximum score of A+? What does a perfect A+ level mean? Literally, the difficulty level of novice dungeons is relatively low, and the basic score is also low. Therefore, there may be a situation where everything that can be done is only given an A+ level rating. Only when encountering more special novice dungeons, there is a chance to get a higher score. So, is the anchor having bad luck? No, you're just a typical person who doesn't have back pain when standing and talking. Ask yourself to replace the anchor with you. According to your standards, do you want to be lucky? Anyway, if it were me, I would rather I was an unlucky person. Follow me. Without any surprise, Xu Yuan will definitely become a legendary player in thriller games, and I will be an old fan then. I've already clicked on the follow button, so I'm waiting for the next live broadcast to see what the anchor's horror rating is. I not only followed but also started recording the entire process. I will send the live broadcast video to Bilibili later. Brother, could you please send me the station number B? I'll give you 3 lines. Bilibili, formerly known as Bilibili, is currently one of the largest video websites. Today, 10 years after the emergence of the thriller world, any video website will set up a dedicated section for thriller games. At first, it also caused controversy. The content of thriller games is inevitably related to blood and cruelty. It's like setting up a section on a video website in such a grand manner. If children are not sensible, they can take advantage of adults playing mahjong, playing cards, watching chopsticks, and listening to music. If they have no time to discipline them, they can run up and watch it. What if they fail to learn? So at the beginning, the relevant departments also rigorously and meticulously managed the horror section of video websites, but soon found that it was no different from hiding one's ears and stealing the bell. What's the use of managing a recorded video of a thriller live stream if you can't control it? Moreover, after the basic mechanisms of thriller games become well known to the world, it is not difficult to find that these recorded videos uploaded to major websites can actually help thriller anchors to a certain extent. Videos can attract traffic to live streaming rooms. With the increase in traffic, fans, popularity, and coins will all increase, and then the anchor can earn more thrilling points. So, the relevant departments no longer deliberately managed it. As long as it is not excessive and does not deliberately touch the bottom line of public order and good customs, what should be done? However, this kind of indulgence has also caused dissatisfaction among a small group of people. Every once in a while, parents are calling online, with slogans roughly about managing thriller games to save children. After the call, they head into the chess room without thinking about managing their own children. Now even the relevant departments are too lazy to listen to such voices. Xu Yuan's black screen live streaming has gained fans because a thrilling video on Bilibili has become a hot topic. After appearing on the homepage of Bilibili, many viewers came to his live streaming room to follow him and wait for the next live stream. The best-selling video is not a live video uploaded by Xu Yuan, a fan who recorded the entire process, to Bilibili, but an edited video about the exciting battle scenes in a thriller game. But the producer of the edited video saw Xu Yuan's live video, found the uploader of the live video, who was the fan who recorded the screen, and then edited it into a video using his combat footage. Video title: As the war song rises, do the terrifying evil still not retreat? In the video footage, Xu Yuan calmly pushed open the door of the security room, his face unchanged as he faced a series of zombies rushing towards him, and he swung an axe to create a chilling sensation. Every time the axe blade hits the heart of the zombie, it hits the drum perfectly, blending the battle rhythm with the background music. Especially in the end, Xu Yuan closed his eyes and swung a fire axe at the monster. The handle of the axe broke, and the monster's hard work rushed out, hitting the highest note of the entire piece of music. The cold and handsome appearance, coupled with such a fierce and agile combat style, naturally stirred the audience's visual nerves and left an extremely deep impression. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Could it be that Your Excellency is the leader of the Axe Gang in the thriller game? Axe King, you can continue to kill. My mother asked me why I was kneeling to watch the video, and I forwarded the video to her. After watching it, she stuffed a pillow under my knee and said it would be more comfortable to kneel like this. Thank you, Mom. Within 3 minutes, I need all the information about this little brother, and I want to throw all my coins into him. He's so calm, I really like him. Sleeping slot. This is just a new anchor. He's too handsome. Of course. This video is not just about Xu Yuan alone, but also about the battle scenes of many famous god-level players, although Xu Yuan occupies a considerable amount of space. The video producers are also very conscientious, not only editing high-quality videos to complete the task, but also thoughtfully labeling the corresponding horror anchor in the corners of each battle scene. So many viewers who had watched the video ran to the audience in Xu Yuan's live broadcast room. Then, they saw the A+ rating. A+ rating for beginner dungeons. Shocking my mom for 10,000 years. I just wanted to come over and take a look, but seeing this A+ rating, I feel like not paying attention is my loss. Follow, must follow. Boss Bully Plus, you must survive in thriller games. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Pure and Rare. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Pure and Rare. So, the number of fans in Xu Yuan's live broadcast room is slowly increasing for a new anchor who has only live streamed once. The speed of gaining followers is no different from riding a rocket. Unknowingly, after enjoying a feast, Xu Yuan bored himself with tinkering with the poor PRB-92 pistol. This time, he completed the challenge of dismantling it with his eyes closed. Until drowsiness strikes, wash up, and lie in bed to sleep. Hungry to eat, sleepy to sleep. This kind of life is often a beautiful thing. Sleep until you wake up naturally, wash up again, and order a Chinese breakfast. Xu Yuan picked up a fragrant and crisp deep-fried dough sticks and casually called out the background data of the live broadcast room. Take a look, drink a mouthful of soybean milk, and play with it in your mouth. Gulu 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 gulu. My throat was about to swallow this soybean milk, and my eyes looked at the data again. Cough cough. Xu Yuan choked heavily. Current fan. 1023 heat revenue. 8 coin revenue. 2 obtained thriller points. 10 The revenue data is based on the statistics of the entire live broadcast, and the popularity is not real. Time. Coins cannot support black screen gifting and can only be given to thrilling anchors who are currently broadcasting. Only fans, this is real. Time data that is updated every moment. Therefore, Xu Yuan, who wiped off the soybean milk from his mouth, couldn't understand. He didn't do anything, just took a nap. Why did his fan base skyrocket from double digits to 4 digits? Chives don't grow so fast, do they? Judging from the speed of increasing followers, there should be channels with high traffic promoting it to me. But I haven't heard of any promotional activities to support newcomers in thriller live streaming. Is there a big shot with over $1 billion among my first 17 fans? The big shot spotted my interesting soul and 130 pounds of body, and waved his hand to arrange it clearly for me. After much thought, Xu Yuan felt that the greatest possibility was to meet a big shot who was willing to be a good person. After all, in a serious live broadcast room like Do Huyuya, you can easily reach the top spot with a big wave of your hand, meet with the host for a meal, and maybe even exercise after the meal. But what can be done for a thrilling anchor to wave his hand? Nothing can be done. It's too difficult to be a good person if you don't even consider giving kindness in return. As for Xu Yuan, who became a thriller game player and was discovered by family and close friends, it is possible to provide assistance as much as possible. From a rigorous perspective, this is not entirely impossible. It's just that the possibility is about equal to the physical education teacher walking into the classroom and telling you that the math teacher is on leave, and the next math class will be changed to physical education. Xu Yuan's parents are both history professors. The difference is that the father specializes in archaeology, while the mother focuses on more obscure mythological history. To be honest, Xu Yuan couldn't figure it out since he was young. Why did these two elders come together? Dealing with corpses and skeletons without hesitation, I have long lost faith in ghosts and gods. A ghost and god who specializes in studying the separation of various civilizations, occasionally nagging. Not to mention the incompatibility between water and fire, at least it's impossible for even 8 strokes to come together. Anyway, it doesn't seem like a combination of brainwaves that can be adjusted to the same frequency band. However, in Xu Yuan's memory, the two elders have always been a model couple and haven't even had any arguments. Until 3 years ago, there was an excavation project for an unearthed cultural relic with a mythological color and unclear civilization ownership, inviting the two elders to participate. The two elders both went and never came back. A serious collapse occurred at the archaeological site, and the entire archaeological team was buried. Even the body has not been excavated, so it is recorded in official archives as missing. As for other relatives besides his parents, let's put it this way. Xu Yuan doesn't know what kind of grudges his parents have, as he has never seen relatives since childhood. During the Chinese New Year, no one visits relatives. Not to mention friends. It's not that Xu Yuan is modest, he just doesn't have any friends. Think about taking a nap in kindergarten, when suddenly it rained heavily, lightning flashed and thunder roared. The other children were all scared and crying, except for an unlucky child named Xu Yuan who looked up at the dark sky. The moment lightning fell illuminated his face. It is a bottomless calm. Who will encounter this and who won't feel scared? The teachers have left a shadow in their hearts and dare not supervise their nap alone anymore. Xu Yuan did not intentionally do this, and he did not have serious social anxiety. It was just that he found it difficult to avoid inadvertently bringing fear to others. Because he doesn't even know what fear is. Without the correct answer, how can we ensure that we can make the wrong choice every time? Anyway, no matter what. Being able to gain followers is always a good thing. It can be foreseen that the revenue of the live broadcast room for the next thriller game will greatly increase. After eating 3 deep-fried dough sticks with soybean milk, Xu Yuan belched comfortably. Then he felt empty and lonely from the bottom of his heart. What should we do next? He is not interested in tinkering with the pistol anymore. He has successfully challenged the task of disassembling and assembling it with his eyes closed. He has also tried to shoot in his personal room, but it cannot. The system of the horror game does not allow it. Otherwise, you can also practice shooting skills and improve your firearms skills through target shooting. Triumph the head lantern. This thing obviously doesn't follow science, and Xu Yuan, a young man who has undergone 9 years of materialistic education, doesn't know how to tinker with it. It's not difficult to disassemble and install it back, but if it doesn't work, it's troublesome. I don't know when the next thriller game will start. The duration of stay in the personal room after each thriller game is not fixed. As long as you rest well, you will be arranged to start a new thriller game. But the key lies in whether or not the player has rested well. Whether or not the player decides is entirely up to the system's judgment. It is rare for Xu Yuan to wait for the next thriller game to start early just because he is bored in his personal room. Not to mention that Xu Yuan is unprecedented, at least it is also rare. Pure rarity. Oh, you're actually here. Xu Yuan suddenly sat up straight because he received a prompt from the horror system. A new round of thriller games is about to begin. Players are advised to prepare and wait for teleportation. I'm ready now. Xu Yuan rubbed his hands with a hint of anticipation. What will be the theme of the next thriller game? Escape. A big escape. Decrypt. Survival. I don't know how long it will take for the transmission to eat another deep-fried dough sticks. Xu Yuan is not greedy. He just believes in his stomach and won't be defeated by just 1 deep-fried dough sticks. Besides, there are 4 deep-fried dough sticks in the Chinese breakfast set, and there is still 1 left in the exquisite wooden basket carved into an orchid style. Wasting food is shameful. Unexpectedly, Xu Yuan gang reached out to pick up deep-fried dough sticks, but the thriller system began to count down. Transmission countdown begins, 3, 2, 1. No, this is too sudden, isn't it? Before the deep-fried dough sticks in his hand had time to bite, the fog appeared out of nowhere, wrapped Xu Yuan tightly and sent it to the copy of the thriller game. End of this chapter.